week 5 fat loss journey, Steve, if you're Steve and you're losing weight, will think, oh, thank goodness I documented all of this. And then you can turn it into a YouTube video and become a YouTube style sensation and then just start lying to people and saying they can get abs in 3 days. I listen when people talk, at least I try to anyway. And while we have done some discussions about getting ripped raw and fat loss, so many people get in touch with me and say, yeah, but how do I start? What do I do before I even do all these other things? I'm talking about people that aren't necessarily training, they're not bodybuilding, they're not lifting any kind of a weights. They're now entering this space where before they want to start trying to build up their muscles and being a big jack guy, which is obviously the dream for all of us, they want to lose some weight, they want to lose some fat first. So I was like, okay, well, we can smash out some tips for that as well. I appreciate you being with me. Some very nice words over the week. So here it is. Here's 8 essential things that I think, and again, just my opinion, that may not work for you. Always do a little bit of education and try and figure out what is going to work for you. But these are my essential tips that you should do before you start losing weight. Number 8 is work out your current calories so you know where to go. Now, your response to that may be, but Simon, I just kind of eat whatever I want in any given day. Okay, well, just figure out what you ate the previous day or try and get an average from the previous week. The point is, if you do not have a calorie idea of what you're eating, how the hell do you know, A, where you want to end up, and B, what you need to, cut away? Because you may actually work out your calories and going, oh, well, I'm eating, 1,200 calories, which doesn't sound very much. So maybe there's something else you need to look into. So the very first thing you need to do is go through your food. And again, you can make it an average or try and figure out what you eat in a day. Or literally, if it's Sunday, just go, well, what did I eat on Saturday? And add that up. And figure it out. Write down a calorie amount. What I would always do is I'd write down my calories and I'd write down my proteins and I would write down my fats. I'd probably ignore carbs. But if you want to work out and do all your macronutrients, but really, if you're trying to lose weight, you should just focus on calories. So figure it out. What's your total calorie count? Maybe do that for a week. So you've got you may still be putting on weight. We'll call it maintenance calories, but obviously maintenance calories means you're not really putting on or losing weight. But once you know your maintenance calories, from there, the world is your oyster because if you want to put on some weight, you can increase, and if you want to lose some weight, you can decrease. It's like taking control of your fitness life. No more will you be lost in the waters like a ship passing in the night. I don't know. Number 7 is once you've done that, work out a food plan and work out when you're going to eat those meals. I know that sounds bizarre, and of course, it's not going to be the same every day. And again, if you just want to eat the things that you were eating for 7 days and see how that works for you, that's fine too. But it's just a mental thing, and we'll talk about this in another one of the entries. If you have said to yourself, today I'm going to eat 4 meals a day, or I'm going to have 5 meals a day, eat whatever you want. 3 meals a day is good. 5 meals is better than 3 meals because the more you eat, probably the less hungry you're going to be, and you'll stoke the furnace of your metabolism, and it will work better. But if you wake up every day, like if you know you have to be at work at 9 a.m., you make sure you're at work at 9 a.m. You don't just go, I'll get there for 11. No, you hold yourself accountable, and that's what you got to do with your food. So figure out how many meals you want to eat in a day, figure out what you're going to eat, figure out when your first meal is going to be, and try and just have a little bit of a plan. So maybe your first meal of the day is 7 a.m., then you're going to have a snack at 10 a.m., then you're going to have your lunch at 1:30, and then 4 you're going to have another snack, and then 6:30 you're going to have dinner. Because if you know they are in the plan, you will do it. How many times have you done that? You've got to be out the door by 3 p.m. So you're far more productive doing whatever you're doing before then because you've got to be out the door by 3 p.m. So write it down, figure out your food plan, figure out what you're going to eat and when you're going to eat it. And I tell you, it's just going to make things a lot easier. Don't forget the mental game. Number 6 is weigh yourself every day for a week as you build up to start this process. Now, I would also say make sure you continue to weigh yourself throughout the process because metrics and statistics are really good when achieving a target. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you can get your average weight over a week, over 7 days, or however long you can be asked to do it, again, you know where you are, and therefore you can actually figure out where you want to go. Do not judge your weight on a day-to-day basis. You can wake up one day and be 15 stone and wake up the next day and be 15.4 stone. And you're like, what the hell happened? It could be water weight. Maybe you didn't sleep. Maybe your cortisol levels are through the roof. Maybe you're a bit bloated. Maybe you need some water. You do not know what it is. And that's why you have to start weighing yourself over an elongated period of time and not to freak out. Like if Tuesday's weight is different from Monday. It's not a Craig David song, Monday, it's not that. You're not worrying about it. Just kind of go week to week with it. But certainly when you first start off it, just weigh yourself every day just so you know roughly where you're at. Because if Monday say you do 15 and then 15.1, then 15.4, 15.5, 15.6, 15.1, you can go, okay, so I'm around about 15.2, 15.3 stone. And then you can start chipping away from there. Again, it's a great way, a great metric. We may talk about this again in a minute, whatever. A great metric is to weigh yourself every Sunday or every Monday, beginning of the week. And if you want to do it every day, that's fine. But use the big numbers from Sunday to Sunday. So if you're 15.4 on that first Monday and then you're 15.2 on the next Monday, you're probably headed in the right direction. Of course, you may still wobble around there for a little bit, but there's only one way to find out. Use the numbers, use the statistics, use the metrics, and use it to form a goal and see it in your brain. Number 5 is take a picture of yourself. Take a picture of yourself. Maybe measure your arms and your stomach and your waist and do all of those kind of things. Obviously, the measurements, again, ties into calories and your weight thing. It's so much easier. If you've got a 38-inch waist and 6 weeks down the line you've got a 36-inch waist, there's no way about it. You lost some fat. Of course you had, or you lost some weight, definitely, because your waist has gone down. The benefit of a picture, and I would, if you can afford a personal trainer, this is one of the reasons you should do it. But the benefit of a picture is that it's not just you looking in the mirror. And the mirror is a great tool. But if you have that picture from day one and you have the confidence to do it, it is quite hard. And you can then take a picture on week 4 and send it to a friend or somebody that you trust. They can judge is a bit wrong, but they can give you some constructive feedback and constructive criticism and actually look at you and say, oh my gosh, you have lost weight. And that's going to make you feel good too. It's going to give you some good, it's going to build up your self-worth, which will help you on this journey. And just know that you're going on the right direction. And maybe if you are able to look at yourself and make those judgments, really hard thing to do, you can look at the picture on day 1 and look at the picture on day 20 and go, oh wow. And I would take as many as you can. Weekly is a pretty good idea. You're not going to see much from week 1 to week 2 or week 2 to week 3. But week 1 to week 8, yeah, if you're doing it right, you're probably going to see vast differences. Once again, you have visual proof, but it's just going to reinforce that you're doing the right thing and you can be held accountable by somebody else. And I tell you, that sounds terrible, but being held accountable by somebody else is a really good way to stay focused because I don't let that person down. And it sounds a bit like a crime. It sounds like you're about to kick down into a bank and go, give me your money, but it's not that. You're not being a criminal. You're just being smart. Again, you don't have to do it. Maybe that sounds a little bit too oogly boogly and you want to stick away from it. That's fine. But, these are things that you can do before you've even lifted a weight or before you've even got on a treadmill. And while you may not see it, week 5 of you will love it. Week 5 fat loss journey, Steve, if you're Steve and you're losing weight, will think, oh, thank goodness I documented all of this. And then you can turn it into a YouTube video and become a YouTube style sensation and then just start lying to people and saying they can get abs in 3 days. Number 4 is decide on what your initial goal is. Right? I don't just mean I want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club or I want to look like this guy or this girl in this movie. I'm talking about real numbers, and that ties into everything we've already talked about. So if you are 15 stone and you want to lose weight, say, I want to lose a stone. I want to get to 14 stone. Make sure your goals are small and reachable because the worst thing you can do is say, I want to be 10 stone. And in 2 months, you're not going to be 10 stone. You're going to beat yourself up and you'll be like, oh, I can't believe it. Give yourself targets that you can reach in a short amount of time so that when you get there, you can reward yourself by going, woohoo, woohoo, I can't believe I actually did it. And then set yourself another small, reasonable goal so you're always hitting your targets constantly. And that is going to build up your confidence. It's going to build up your enthusiasm for it all. So maybe you want to do it with your waist. Again, you're a 36 waist, you want to get down to a 34. You're 15 stone, you want to get down to 14 stone. I don't know. Pick what it is. Maybe you want to make it more of a physical challenge. Okay, I built my cardio up to 30 minutes a day. This week I want to do 35 minutes a day. Because don't forget, if you do 5 minutes extra a day, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35 more minutes in a week. That's loads compared to what you would do. That's like an extra day's worth of cardio and a little bit more. So have that in mind. Write that number down. Everyone says, so silly. Okay, maybe it is. But if you write down 14 stone or whatever and stick it around the place, it just gets in here. And that's what it's all about. And once you're past all the cravings and you're into a routine, you are going to be sailing and going, it's not easy, but it's easier than you imagined. Number 3 is work out a fitness plan. If you wake up again on Wednesday and you're going to start working out on Thursday and you go, I'm just going to do cardio tomorrow, you probably won't. You probably won't. But if you say, I'm going to do cardio, I'm going to do that class, or I'm going to join Joe Wicks, or I'm going to do that weight session at 6 p.m., you will, again, if you write this stuff down and actually make a proper plan like you would for anything else, a calendar, you're going to do it. There are so many books out there where people talk about this. You can have all the good intentions in the world, but you need to action it. And the best way to action it and not talk yourself out of it is just to get a pen or go on your phone or a computer and just do that. I mean, don't just hit a wooden table. That's not going to help you at all. Actually, it's plastic. I'm cheap. But I mean, it's literally to, and again, you're holding yourself accountable. That's what it comes down to. So as soon as you decide that you want to do it, figure out all the things that you need to do, such as the food prep and yada, yada, yada. Write down your diet too, that will help. But also say, Wednesday, 6 p.m., I do cardio. Thursday, 6 p.m., I do weights. Friday, 9:30, whenever he does it, I join Joe Wicks for his PE session. Sunday, there's an Instagrammer that does yoga. I'm going to go join her for her live session. Write this all down. As you would, Friday, 14th of whatever, I'm going to Steve. He's been in it once. Steve's wedding. And then obviously you try and figure out ways to get out of Steve's wedding because nobody wants to go to a wedding. They're terrible long-ass days and it's always too hot. However, do the same with that. So the same way you'd make plans for anything else, make plans for losing weight. And then you give it a certain amount of importance in your life, and I promise you are 9 times more of 10 probably going to do it. That was gibberish. You're 90% more likely to do it. Number 2 is come up with some kind of journal that you write in every week. So you do it in day 1 and then get to the end of week 1 and write down the things you missed or didn't achieve and figure out what that was. Because I tell you, again, it's an amazing little trick. So let's say that you accidentally broke your diet on the 3rd day in. You had 4 chocolate bars. You're like, oh, I can't believe it. First of all, don't beat yourself up about it. We all do it and we will do it again. It's a weird thing to do anyway, to restrict yourself with your diet. I mean, it's a healthy thing to do, but it's still weird in terms of how your brain and your body operates. But if you write it down, I had those chocolate bars because I was sad at work or because somebody said something nasty to me. Next time it happens, maybe you won't reach for those chocolate bars because you will have associated the two and you will work on yourself. It's just a really, really good way, again, to ensure that you don't make the same mistakes and also that you keep improving as the weeks go on, because that's really what you want. I find the reasons people stop in their fat loss and weight loss especially is because you get 4 weeks in and you don't feel like anything has changed and you feel, you look in the mirror and you're not pleased and then you lose your momentum with it. But that's when you have to keep going. So if you're writing all this stuff down, what may happen is when you go back through I've used the word loads, we'll use it again, your accountability book, you may think, oh, the reason I haven't lost any weight is because I ate 3 chocolate bars there and there I had a pizza. Because some people do eat this stuff and they don't realize it. I kid you not. It's almost like a reflex. People just fall into it. So if you can actually document this stuff, like I say, you may get to the end of your 4, 5, 6 weeks and go, why aren't I losing weight? Let me have a look. I'm just eating too many chocolate bars. And that way, then you can figure out healthy snacks to replace the unhealthy snacks. And already, the next day, you're in a better place. And the number one thing to do before you start your fat weight loss journey is accept that it's going to take a long ass time, right? It's going to take a long ass time. Write all this stuff down, keep a log of it, but don't assess it for a while. Don't come back and change it massively, apart from when you're trying to figure out if why you broke things. Give it proper time. Probably a month, I would say. Then after 4 weeks, sit down, assess everything, look at your numbers, trying to come up with a pattern. Am I heading in the right direction? If not, why am I not heading in the right direction? Hey, you're going to lose most of your fat if you're doing everything right towards the beginning of everything. That's what happens. You spark your body into life and it loses all this fat, but eventually it catches up with you. It's really, really smart. It will catch up with you and you'll hit a plateau, you'll hit obstacles, you'll hit barriers, and that's when you need to start clever. I've got other videos that you can do to try and if you haven't and you don't think I have, I'll do one, but there are little things that you can do to always make sure that you're burning fat and headed in the right direction. But give it time, use all these numbers down the line, and it will work. It really, really will work. And like I always say, if you just want to break it right down, calories in versus calories out. Simple. But it's not that simple because life is not that simple. But use that as your base, use that as your structure, build all these other things on top, and I promise you, in 2 to 3 months, you'll absolutely be heading towards your goal. And then your goal will become more important than having, a burger. You know what I mean? Have cheat meals and stuff. I think cheat meals are important for your mental health, but it will become more important because you'll be like, well, I don't want to give up all this hard work I've done by having having my 3 chocolate bars on a Wednesday, so I won't. And what an incredible feat and achievement that is. Again, don't ever do it from a negative place. Do it from a positive place. But you will get there. Your body forgets this stuff. Cravings can just vanish entirely from your brain. And you can become an annoying fitness dude that everybody hates. And there you go. There's some tips that hopefully will help you lose some weight. Thank you for joining me as always. My name's Simon Miller. If you give a damn, if you don't, why are you even here? And you watched way long into the video, you're crazy. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. The subscribe and the bell, ding ding, is the most important thing in the world. Twitter and Instagram at Simon316 if you want to come call me a bald asshole. I got a Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316 because my views ain't where they need to be, but I keep trying. All the information for this is in the description below, and I'll see you soon.